Yo, what's good, everybody? We are back. Uh, so we're in the playing now, boys. Basketball season. It's heating up, man. It's heating up. It's heating up real well. Like I said, we in the playoffs. We in playing now. We just had two great games back to back, man. My Warriors won, and we finna get into that, man. Honestly, this was honestly a really good game. I will say though, I think the key factor in the game for the Warriors is that it never got too out of hand for them. If you look back at the game, the Clippers never took. I think they only had like a 10-point lead or something. I think the most they led was a 10-point lead, right? So the Warriors were able to keep it relatively close, and they always seemed to go on a run whenever they needed it most to keep the game within reach. I think that's the most important part. Like when things started to get out of hand, right, and it looked like the Clippers were gonna extend on their lead and really take control of the game. The Warriors will always find a way to get it right back. And I think that's the main point in this game is that the Warriors showed resilience. For the Clippers, it's the same thing as the fact that they were never able to really push their lead. It's like whenever they would counter. Sometimes they would counteract the Warriors, and then other times they fully stopped the Warriors, but they never were able to really control the lead. And I think that's what really set them up for failure. Like, hey, yeah, we have the lead, but it's really not that. It's really not much of a lead if they're always coming right back and bringing it close. I think that's the main thing that really hurts the Clippers in this whole situation is that they can never really. They had the Warriors down, but they couldn't land that one knockout punch to really just like, all right, this is it. That's game. We're done. And they allowed the Warriors to stay in the game. And the more chances the Warriors got, eventually they were gonna take the lead. And they did, and they were able to get it down within one. Take their first lead with 2 minutes left since 8-11 in the second, and would then hold on to that lead to win 126-121. Like I said, though, it was a great game. It was really just the Clippers' inability to put away the Warriors, but also at the same time the Warriors' ability to stay within range. To stay within range, so one good run could put them back into a really close situation. So that was my main takeaway of it. Then we have Suns and Blazers. This was a really close game for majority of the time. There were some times where the Blazers went up by 14 with 4:22 left in the second quarter, but the Suns immediately would bring it back down and would go in the half with a 65-62 deficit, right? And there was also a time where the Suns led by by 10 with 8:15 left in the fourth, right? So outside of those two instances, really, this was a really back and forth game, and honestly, it really looked like both teams could really close it out. But I think the main thing is, Drew Holiday came up with some big plays down the stretch, but I also think it has something to do with the foul trouble that the Phoenix Suns found themselves in, right? Because if you look back at the game, I think Dylan Brooks fouled out of the game. I think what was his name? I think not he may not have fouled out, but Devin Booker was close to fouling out. Dylan Brooks had 6. Devin Booker had 5. And when 2 of your best players have 6 fouls and 5 fouls together, it definitely does impact your offense, because now you have to find a way to generate offense without them on the floor, and they did that pretty well with Jalen Green. But obviously, it wasn't enough. But I do think that if Devin Booker and Dylan Brooks, they don't have those fouls, and some of them were it was kind of ticky-tack, but you just can't have those as a star player, But I do think that if they can stay away from foul trouble, that this is a game that they easily win, right? Because really, outside of Denny Advia having 41, this is a completely different story. Like, it was really only Denny Advia who was really, putting in work. I mean, Denny Advia had 41. Obviously, like I said, Jrue Holiday, he came up clutch. He had 21. But, Jeremy Grant had 16, and then Shaedon Sharpe had 12. But then you look on the Sun side, you had 4 players you had 3 players with 20 or more. You had a player with 12. And, so I'm just saying, though, I do think that the fouls were like the main reason as to why, because I don't really think that the Blazers really did anything crazy to really like deserve that win. You know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna be honest. Then we have Hornets versus Heat. I mean, oh my goodness, man. This game, I didn't watch whatever game was yesterday before it was the 76ers versus Magic. I was not able to watch that game. I did not catch that game, so that's why I didn't talk about it. That's what we're moving on. But Hornets and Heat, honestly, I expected this because I feel like anytime the Hornets play, it's always some absolute masterclass of a game, and I was not disappointed. They played well. They had a couple of they had a bunch of great shots down the stretch. I do think that I'm not blaming Melo, but I will say though, I think that if he doesn't trip Bam and take Bam out of the game, that this whole situation is a completely different game. This is whole, because he got taken out by with plenty of time left in the clock. You know what I mean? Like, he got taken out pretty, with still enough time left to where he could still affect the game in both offense and defense. But I obviously he got taken out. So, but I'm not saying Melo did it on purpose. I'm not saying Melo did it on purpose. But I am saying that it did really affect the course of the game, because without that, I really don't think. I mean, I see Khalil Ware. He had a couple of great blocks down the stretch. But without that extra defensive presence that Bam is, along with the offense that he provides for that team, I think that's a completely different sort of how we look at the game. Anyways, though, went into overtime. Really great game. Hornets won on the last second shot. Well, not really the last second shot, but it ended up being the game winner by Melo, where he got by his defender, scooped it up. Great play though. But like really great play. But I do think that if Melo hadn't tripped Bam and taken him out of the game, I think this is a completely different story. Now moving on, we have Rockets versus T-Wolves. This is like from the last few games of this season. We all know that they're going to be in the playoffs, so any injuries or any bruises or cuts, shit like that, it's all going to be fine, So, this was really just a great game all the way through. The Timberwolves did go down. Did go down by as much as 10 in the third, but they would eventually make their comeback. They did I wouldn't say they swapped leads, they did change leads, but it was more so when a team had a lead, they mainly kept it for a long period of time until the other team made a run, or they just things happen. But it was a good game, but it wasn't necessarily lead changes because I don't have many down on here Rockets. It was okay, hey, they had a good quarter, and then they took the lead. It wasn't really much after that, but the Wolves would be up 120 to 115 with 6:17 left in the fourth, and they would hold out to win 136-132. Like I said though, it was a really good game. It necessarily doesn't mean lead changes, but still very good action. Two great teams going at it, and I'm never disappointed when these two teams go at it. Now we have the Cavs versus, I keep saying it, this Hawks team reminds me of the 2015 Hawks, where it's it's a team of friends. It's the power of friendship as team. You know what I mean? Don't get me wrong, they've got some great players, but it's there's no clear cut superstar on that team. That's my thing, is that there's no clear cut superstar, and it works just fine for them. You know what I mean? Because they've constructed the team so well that it's okay, they don't really need a superstar when they have so many really good players that work so well together. Their skill sets fit together in and of each other. And so that team is so well constructed that the progression that these young players have made, like a Jalen Johnson and the Great Barrier Thief. I forgot to do his name. Dyson Daniels, and I just said his name and I'm already forgetting. Oh my goodness. I'm already forgetting. It was Dyson Daniels and then Jalen Johnson. Those two have really been impressive to me. Onyeka Okongwu has been really impressive for me. CJ McCollum, they just fit so well together. That's just it's just kind of crazy to me. This is a really good team. Because like I said, they don't really have a far and away best player, but it works. Moving on to the game though, this was after one. It really got out of half after the first quarter. Because in the second, the Hawks would take a double-digit lead. They would go into half with a 61-48 lead, and then after that, it was double digits and more, with the Hawks winning 124-102. I will say this though, the Hawks have, like I said, the Hawks have been really good. The Cavs have been really good. So, but if I'm a team and I see the Hawks as my first series, I would be scared, because that's that's a team that I don't think I want to see in a 7-game series. Just like I don't think I want to see the Pistons in a 7-game series, because I feel like it. You know what I mean? Like, those are two teams that I'd be scared of. If I had to see them in a 7-game series, I would be scared of them, honestly. Yeah. Moving on, we have the Celtics and the Knicks. I caught the second half of this game, right? So I didn't catch the first half, but I was able to catch the second half. So when I caught it, the Knicks had a 9-point lead, and they eventually extended it to a 13-point lead. But then the Knicks would cut it right back down. So like when I caught it, it was in the middle of a Knicks where Knicks were in control pretty much. Like I said, they had a 13-point lead, 17-59. But the Knicks would come storming right back down, and they would the Celtics would albeit very by a very slim margin, 83-81 would take the lead into the third, right? The Celtics would go on a little run, extend the lead, give them some cushion, but the Knicks would eventually bring it back, and then tie it up with 5 minutes left, 96-96, right? Over the next 4 minutes, the Celtics and Knicks would go back and forth, trading leads, trading leads and shit. But the Knicks would lead 106-104 with 126 left, and this and they would hold on to maintain the lead as they, in the last minute 30, pretty much minute 26, they would outscore the Celtics 6-2 and win 112-106. This is a great game. Like I said, I was able to catch it when the Celtics made their comeback, so I was very entertained by it. It's always fun when you're watching two historic teams like the Celtics and Knicks go at it. So I will never be disappointed with their teams, because I feel like they always have good games, even when they are relatively in bad eras, like the mid 2010s, like the Celtics and the Lakers were. I think they still had some really great games, because like it's a rivalry game. You always play harder for rivalry games. You see it all the time in football, where two teams may be bad, but when it's a rivalry, they play their hearts out, and it's like, okay, hey, why can't y'all play like this the whole season? But rivalry games are just that much different. So yeah, that was Uniball. We're gonna be back next Thursday, like I said, obviously. But yeah, it's the plan. Can't wait to cover the playoffs. I'm gonna be really excited about that. So until next time, I'll catch y'all later. Peace.